Good night, everyone. Doing tonight. God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Sermon J. Spirit Divine. I'm gonna give you a word and a short news on tonight. Um, we're gonna talk about Louisiana redrawing their map. Republican requests that they must follow the Alabama court order passed in drawing a new map in the district. And I agree. I agree because I think y'all should redraw another map. Maybe they'll make a difference. You know, I agree that you should draw a new map. We have you have to have a map. You have to have a map so your district can be on that map. You know, also, it also needs to be done by the end of this year. So it can be ready for next election for 2024 election. So I request that Louisiana draw a new map because it worked out for Alabama. They approved their map. So we need Louisiana, you know, map to be approved. So that district can be on that map and so you can be able to vote. So I request that Louisiana draw their map, make sure it don't violate voting rights acts because see that's how they turned it down the first time. you know so let's take care of this issue soon as possible. We need all the numbers we can get to vote. So if we don't take care of this before the end of this year, it will be upheld till 2026. So that means no one will be able to vote who's not in a district for 2 years. you know so we don't want to wait 2 years you know, for people to vote because we need all the numbers that we can get. You know, so we need to try to take care of this by the end of this year because if we don't take care of this soon as possible, we're gonna have to wait a whole nother 2 years. So we need that map. We need all people to be on that on the district. In a district, you have to be in a district to vote. So that's the news on that. I'm gonna kind of be talking about that every day until we get justice done like we did for Alabama. So yesterday I put out it was day before yesterday. I put out about hate because we have so much hate and so much anger going on. We got two war going on. So we got the Israelite, hate of Samaria. You know, um, so there should be no hate. Jesus had told a story, about the men. There was two were Jews and there was one was a Samaritan. So he telling a story how you supposed to help your neighbor. So a man was beaten and lying down on a road. And so Jesus said, there has a man been beaten up, laying on the road, who will be the best Samaritan who gonna take care of this person, who gonna help this person, and so the road, the first man, so the first it was three guys Jesus had spoke on. So the first man saw the man laying down on the ground. He passed him by. Went all the way around to keep from seeing him. In case anybody questioned, did you saw him laying down? He went all the way around to keep from seeing him. And he was a Jew. So we got the second one. The second one also is a Jew. And so he was a priest. He passed him by. So now we got the third one. The third one is a Samaritan. Now the guy that laying down on the ground is a Samaritan. You know, so so now these two men did not want to help this man who been beaten because of hate. Because the Jews do not like do not like the Samaritan. So because these two men, have hate and they didn't want to stop. So there is three men. The first two men passed by. They both of them were Jews. Did not want to stop to help the man. You know, they didn't want to take care of the man. So the man who was beaten, lying on the ground, he was a Samaritan. And the man who stopped, the man who stopped to see about this man, he also was a Samaritan. He took care of the man, you know, but the other two just passed him by because of hate. You know, the hate towards him, and they refused to stop to help this man. So we see this hate go way back. Jesus telling them, if you see your neighbor, in need of help, will you help? Will you stop? So they ask, who is our neighbor? Well, I'm asking, who is our neighbor? Who you talking about? So your neighbor is anyone who need help. Some people just help their own kind, like the Samaritan did. He was a Samaritan. The guy laying down was a Samaritan, and he was being a good Samaritan, but to his own kind. So Jesus said, don't always just help your kind. Help anyone, that need help. So the people just have their own kind, just like this Samaritan. He was a good Samaritan, but to his own people. So Jesus telling them to stop the hate, and help anyone that's in need. Now two Jews was in a room. Both of them in a room. Both of them was an Israelite. And they kept going because it wasn't their people. So we are equal. We all should be a good Samaritan, to someone. The man who was a Samaritan, now he was a good Samaritan. Now he took care of the man. He dropped him off for other people to help take care of him. And he gonna come back and pay them and stuff. So he was a good Samaritan. But would he be a good Samaritan if there was somebody else laying on the ground? If there was a Jews laying on the ground, would he help them? So we can't just help our own kind of our people. We got to help all. That's what you were saying. You got to help all. You's a good Samaritan, but will you be a good Samaritan to someone else? You know, so no hate. Be a good Samaritan to anyone. So now I think I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. A misunderstanding was about to turn into war. Because, see, two packages I put out the other day about hate and about war. And see, all this stuff in the Bible. This did come out the Bible right here. Now, this misunderstanding was about to turn into war. Instead of having a communication, they get gathering their men together, about to go to war. So misunderstanding, failure, to communicate both groups, other people, of Israel, but went separate ways, So, when God had rescued them, most of the Israelites separate, like Esau. I told y'all the other day, like Esau and his family, they separate. And so some of the Israelites separate, some went this way, but they're all the same people, you, you know. Um, but they went separate ways. Now God said Canaan, were for all of them, for all the Israelites. So they figured they'll come back and they could do whatever they want on the land because they say it's for us too. God gave it to all us. So God said Canaan for all of them. Half of the Israelites built an imposter altar there by Jordan River, without speaking to anyone. Because they feel like, well, God gave it to all of us. So they feel like they ain't got the answer to no one, you know. But they built the altar as a reminder. They did no harm, They built the altar for as a reminder, that two of the half of the tribes across the Jordan are still part of God's people. So that's what we're saying. We are still part of God's people. We just went separate ways, but we all is an Israelite. So God people and still live in God land. So they built an altar without speaking to the leader of the Israelite, thinking that there is king and it will be no problem. So now the Israelite heard someone, you know, um, build an altar on their property, but they not trying to find out why and who. They will find out it's their own people, you know, but when you don't communicate, it become a misunderstanding. And that's what we got to do these days. That's just like the war that's going on with the Israelite. Not the Bible. The Israelite. Sometimes they just got to talk it out. With Russia, Ukraine too. Just like I said the other day, they got to have impeachment talk. You know, they got to get to the root of what's really this conflict is about. You know, and see this right here, they lack of communication. A misunderstanding can turn into a lack of communication. Instead of them talking, resolving, of finding out why, and they just ready to get men together and ready to go to war. Good win. Now, it's not trying to talk to no one. The whole assembly of Israel is gathering his men together to go to war. Not trying to talk to no one, not trying to find out who these people is. If they was wish to do that, they'll find out that's your own people. So only if they would have talk it out, you know, but instead they wanted to go to war. And that's how people is today. They hear something. Instead of trying to find out what is going on, they're just ready to go to war. Sometimes people hear stuff, but still don't hear the correct answer and ready to fight and go to war. You know, we got to get we got to get a clear understanding and stop trying to fight and go to war so quickly. So we have to stop, you know, and stop getting so ready, so ready to go to war fast. Only if both parties sit down and talk it out, you can see it was just a misunderstanding, lack of communication. So they wouldn't find out, that they're about to go to war against their own people. So all we have to do, just have a meeting. That's all. That's all you got to do. Have a meeting and see if you can come to some kind of agreement. And stop being so quick to fight. Be so quick to go to war, getting weapons together. You know, don't be so quick to get weapons together. Be quick to sit down and have a grown relationship. I mean to say a conversation. That's all you have to do. Now first we're gonna talk about. We talked about hate. They only help their own kind, and Jesus saying we have to help all. And you had two Jews saw that man laying there on the ground, and they just passed it on by. And the Samaritan, he only helped the man because that was his own people. Took care of him and everything. He'll be a good Samaritan. But would he be a good Samaritan to someone else that was down there? So we talked about hate. We talked about the man was a Samaritan, and a Samaritan man also helped him. So Jesus, the Jews, they hate the Samaritan. So that's the reason why they did not stop and they just passed on by. That's why we got to get rid of this hate. They hated Samaritan, so that's why they let him there. So when they saw the man, they kept going. So the Jews was the Israelite. The two Jews was the Israelite. And now, they know better. They know better. So God told them about hate. So we also talk about the Israelite went separate ways, but they wanted to build an altar on part of the land, part of Canaan land, to build an imposter altar. But God gave the land to all the Israelites, you know, all the family, the family, but they fight they wants to fight against their own family, against their own family. If they only would have sit down and talk, they could have realized, okay, that's our people. Okay, what you want to do? Okay, that's good. So all the family, but with a misunderstanding, they was about to go to war with their own family. So stop the hate and serve all family. Communicate. Don't be so quick to go to war. They got people just so quick. Be hearing stuff and don't even hear the correct answer or the correct information. They be so quick to grab weapons and wants to fight and go to war. You have to hear things correctly before you want to attack. And that's how they were. They was not trying to have a communication with them. They gathered up their men and they just were ready to go to war. And then they were going to be going to war towards their own family. You know, all us in this world, this nation, you know, you can't even look at somebody, too hard. You're ready to go to war. We have to stop the hate. We have to stop wants to attack someone, shoot someone. We have to stop this because a lot of times you're not hearing the information correctly before you go to war. So you got to take the time. You got to communicate and find out the correct answer that you heard. So that's all the news and words that I have for you today. We have to stop the hate. Because we see this situation here. They ain't want me bothered with the man because they hate the Samaritan. And that's what Jesus said. You can't hate no one, and you can't disown and help your people. You know, so and we did talk about Louisiana drawing a new map. So they can have their district on their map so they'll be able to vote. Because if we don't take care of this soon as possible, they're going to upheld it for 2 years, 2026. Now, we don't want to wait 2 years. There are going to be so many people, won't be able to vote. And we need all the numbers that we can get to vote. So we don't want to withhold, a whole two years. So that's all the news and the word I have for you on today. Y'all have a blessed and safe day. I'll see y'all in the next video.